Ah, the Trudeaus, Canada's answer to a Hallmark movie, until it turned into a Netflix drama with a surprise plot twist no one saw coming. Childhood buddies turned gala glam soulmates? Cute. 18 years of marriage? Impressive. Public breakup via Instagram? Iconic. Their love story had all the fairy tale vibes, until real life showed up like, surprise, I brought paparazzi. Turns out not even maple syrup can sweeten a political heartbreak. Love, maple syrup, and red carpets. Once upon a gala, 2003 to be precise, Justin Trudeau and Sophie Gregoire crossed paths in a way that might make Nicholas Sparks weep. From old childhood connections to glamorous charity events, it was romance reborn. They tied the knot in 2005 and seem set to live happily ever after. Or at least as happily ever after as you can while running a country, raising 3 kids, and having your every sneeze dissected on Twitter. To the outside world, they had it all. Love, family, mutual ambition, and matching Instagram filters. But as anyone who's ever tried to look happy while their partner triple books dinner with 3 world leaders will tell you, looks can be deceiving. The cracks beneath the selfie filter. On August 2nd, 2023, Justin dropped the political and emotional equivalent of a bombshell via Instagram. He and Sophie were separating after nearly 2 decades of marriage. After many meaningful and difficult conversations, the post began, which is basically PR speak for, we argued a lot and now we're done. Cue the shocked faces across Canada. Just days earlier, Sophie had written a glowing Father's Day message for Justin. The man was still sporting his wedding ring like it was a campaign badge. And yet, poof, marital bliss turned into headline chaos overnight. Sophie finds her voice on Instagram. Post-breakup, Sophie wasn't exactly cryptic. She just wasn't tagging names, which in the age of online shade is about as subtle as a marching band in a library at an event aptly titled Soulful Divorce. Yes, that's a thing now. Sophie offered the crowd some philosophical gems. Our relationships are a reflection of how we treat ourselves, she said, pausing dramatically. And then came the dagger. When you truly love, you're there. With your body, your soul, and your time. Oof, you could practically hear Canadians collectively raise an eyebrow. The man was the Prime Minister, Sophie. His body, soul, and time were usually locked in meetings with NATO or dealing with international maple syrup crises. Still, the message was clear. Love isn't just about being physically present, it's about showing up emotionally too, even if you're also running a G7 nation. Instagram Philosophy Hour. Like any newly single woman with a robust social media presence and a poetry playlist, Sophie turned to Instagram to process her healing. One standout moment? A video of poet David Whyte discussing the transformative power of life changes. Her caption, I love poet David Whyte's wisdom. Translation, this divorce may hurt, but baby, I'm growing. And grow she did. Right into some very profound and very possibly pointed Instagram monologues. In a May 2025 post, Sophie spoke candidly about people-pleasing and the emotional whiplash that comes from trying to keep everyone happy. Our job is not to carry the weight of everyone else's emotions, she said. Mic could drop, she added. Sometimes the most loving thing we can do is not to rescue but to step back. Sure, she could have been talking to anyone, but let's be honest. If your ex ran a country and had a penchant for charisma overload, odds are he expected emotional rescue now and again. Politics is a family affair, except when it's not. One of the most eyebrow-raising moments came on January 6, 2025. Trudeau, choking back tears, announced his resignation as Prime Minister. The whole nation tuned in. Headlines exploded. But you know who wasn't there? Sophie. She was off skiing with the kids, presumably sipping hot cocoa and reading Rupi Kaur poems. And while Canadians were waiting for some reaction from her, maybe a post, a quote, even a well-placed reaction gif, Sophie stayed classy, sort of. Her response? A quote about toxic relationships inflaming your nervous system. Later, she followed up with another gem. Anger issues are actually vulnerability issues. I mean, who needs divorce lawyers when you have motivational Instagram? Love, politics, and cabinet reshuffles. Long before the split, the internet had theories. Because of course it did. Rumors of extramarital affairs swirled like snow in Ottawa. Justin was frequently linked, without confirmation, to Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly. They had undeniable professional chemistry, and she somehow always survived cabinet reshuffles like she had a political invisibility cloak. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe Canadians just love a juicy subplot in their political dramas. Sophie too wasn't immune to the rumor mill. In 2020, she tested positive for COVID-19 after attending a London charity event, the same one where actor Idris Elba also tested positive. While no evidence of any romantic connection emerged, the internet didn't need facts. It needed only imagination and access to Photoshop. Public pain, private wounds. In a heartfelt conversation with journalist Katie Couric, Sophie opened up about the emotional toll of the split. "It hurts a lot and it hurts deeply," she confessed, comparing marriage to a success badge and divorce to a failure stamp. "But life happens in between," she added, a line that belongs in a breakup anthem, honestly. As hard as it was for Sophie, imagine the heartbreak of doing all this in the global spotlight. Every tear, every silence, every poetry quote, analyzed, debated, and memified. Trouble in paradise. Since forever? Looking back, the signs were there. Even while presenting a united front, both Sophie and Justin had offered clues about a troubled union. On Canada Day 2023, Sophie posted a rather sobering message, urging compassion and kindness. "Life is tough," she wrote. "Everyone has their troubles. If that's not code for 'I'm emotionally exhausted,' I don't know what is." Even Justin in earlier interviews hinted at rocky roads. In a 2014 CBC sit-down, he admitted their marriage wasn't perfect. "We've had difficult ups and downs," he said, but quickly added, "Sophie remains my best friend." And yet, when pressed on whether honesty in their marriage was code for infidelity, he firmly said no. Sophie, on the other hand, well, she didn't exactly give a clear denial. "Whatever happened in our lives, I'm not saying it did or didn't," she said, the kind of response that makes PR teams break into cold sweats. Was politics the real third wheel? So what really led to the breakdown? Was it just love lost, political fatigue, or was there a bigger unspoken reason? Political science professor Nelson Wiseman suggested a compelling theory. Perhaps the split was less about romance and more about power dynamics. According to him, Sophie may have delivered an ultimatum. Step down or we're done. Justin didn't step down until January 2025. Could it be too little too late, or the first step toward a reconciliation arc? If this were a Netflix series, we'd be on the edge of our seats waiting for the next season. What now? Today, Sophie seems focused on self-love, healing, and posting the kind of quotes that make you cry a little inside. She speaks to women's leadership groups, meditates on the power of rest, and continues to navigate life. Not as Mrs. Prime Minister, but as a woman reclaiming her story. As for Justin, he's stepped away from the national spotlight. Whether that means politics is permanently behind him, or just on pause, only time will tell. One thing's for sure, he's no longer just the face of Canada, he's the face of a man who's been through it. A political love story for the ages, or the therapists. The story of Justin and Sophie Trudeau isn't just one of love gained and lost. It's a tale of how even the most high-profile couples struggle with the same things we all do. Communication, balance, unmet expectations, and the relentless weight of emotional labor. Their romance started like a rom-com, climaxed like a political thriller, and ended somewhere between a wellness retreat and a subtweet war. It had all the makings of a Canadian Shakespearean drama, complete with snow, scandal, and soft lighting. As Sophie wisely said, life happens in between. And for the Trudeaus, that in between was a whirlwind of love, legacy, and letting go. And hey, if you enjoyed this political love saga sprinkled with drama, poetry, and passive-aggressive Instagram wisdom, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more tea hotter than a Tim Hortons double-double. Got thoughts on the Trudeau split? Drop them in the comments. We're all ears and emojis.